All right, what is up, everyone? It is the Awesemo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. We have a 5-game slate to talk about tonight. Really, I guess it kind of starts and ends with one stack, as it usually does when Colorado one's at home. They're usually mega chalk, and it seems like they get there more often than not. DK, so I'm playing primarily on DK tonight. DK priced them up, but they've still priced some other lines way down. So it's actually not even that difficult to fit them in. So like at first when I saw the like their pricing, it was 23.8. I thought that, there's no way you're gonna be able to fit them in with any real lines, but you pretty much can. Like, it's not that difficult. So that's basically where the slate is gonna start. And probably end for a lot of people. How about the shit show in Philly the past 2 days? Yeah, they said they hired Quenneville and then they didn't, and now they're saying he's out of the running. I don't know. What an organization, right? Who does Boston 1 match up with? What's up, Corsi? Who does Boston 1 match up with? They're probably going to get the Dano line. At least that's my read. That's probably what it's going to be. Nolan was supposed to be on today, but Nolan also... there was something that came up for him, so I don't know. He might be jumping on here at some point, maybe not. But we'll just go through. He did his line change article, so we'll look at that actually right now. Hey, what's up? IMG Miracle. How's it going? I'll join the show. Yeah, join the show. You're already in chat, Huey. I'm assuming it's pronounced Huey, right? All right, so big news. Nolan kind of laid it out for us. Gave a few of his own thoughts at the end, so it's actually, it's not bad that he's not on the show. He's got other stuff to deal with right now, and only a few things that he lists up top. So Letang expected to be back. He is technically a game time decision, but you would assume he retakes his role on the top power play, and it just kind of makes Pittsburgh a little bit harder if you are running out 4-3-1s. So that was the only thing that I was kind of worried about. Thought we might be able to play some super cheap Alimata, who got the PP1 time when Letang was out, but it looks like we're not going to be able to do that, except, unless we have something weird happen between now and lock. I don't know what's going on with my mouse here. Anyways, oh, there's like fuzz on it. Does that ever happen to any of you guys? Get fuzz on your thing and then it doesn't? All right, well. I was trying to put my computer on sleep mode so you didn't hear the text that I get, but apparently my computer does not want me to do that. And actually, probably got to keep Slack open in case Nolan is going to jump on here. Anyways, Zingle got hurt today, took a check from one of his teammates. He's pretty much expected to play. Duchesne skated, I think, before practice, and then they said he wasn't going to play. Or at least he didn't take line rushes, so don't expect him to be out there. Pred's getting healthier, as Nolan says, but no Subban, no Arvidsson just yet, and then Hornquist out again. And I think he also skated. He's done that a couple times. Does anybody know why Hornquist can't come back? Is it retroactive to one of the dates and he's just not eligible to come back, or what's going on there? Because he's skated like 3 game days in a row, but then he doesn't take line rushes. I don't know. Maybe something with the team doctors. I don't know. Just was wondering if anybody had read anything about that, because you keep expecting him to come back and then he doesn't come back. All right. How did everyone's weekends go? And NFL DFS, I donated. So that was pretty normal for me. Donated to NFL. Won some back in NHL. So that was good. But have not had any good luck in NFL, and that's what it would be if I did win in NFL. I'm not a very good player. I don't spend that much time on it. I just degen it on Sunday mornings. watch a couple other streams, watch some of our streams, and basically just fire up whatever I can. All right, let's do this. 16th in the DK $40. Oh, on Saturday? $600 profit on Yahoo. Nice. I donated to that tournament too. That was fun. Yeah, 16th. Let's see. I think I might have had that contest pulled up. Yeah, it did. So I was kind of looking. Eddie, stud. There I am. Ah, you were right there. You were right there with me. And tied with Eddie again. Oh, this guy. McDonald. He always pops for me, I guess because he's super cheap and plays like 20 minutes a game and block shots. But this guy, I've seen this a lot from him. Boom. One on DK, but gave it back on FanDuel and Yahoo and NFL. Yeah. I usually just play DK for NFL, but this week I think I just put it in the last second lineup. I saw there was some overlay on DK, and then I maxed the $20 on Yahoo. So, did you use my projections, Huey? If you did, my bad. McDonald, what a guy. Maybe some other projection systems liked him. I'm not sure. All right, let's go back to the games here. Probably get this started now. We've got a decent amount of people in here. All right, let's do Ducks and the Pittsburgh Penguins. 2.6 implied total for the Ducks, 3.4 for Pittsburgh. We have John Gibson going up against Casey DeSmith, as you see on the screen. A little bit of line jumbling, I guess, for the Penguins. They're going with Rust on the top line. Couple games off that hat trick with Crosby and Gensel. Pretty expensive, but now with Rust on that line, they're still somewhat affordable as a trio. I think they're around 19K if I'm doing my math correctly. Yeah, 19K I think flat actually. The Pittsburgh second line is the one I like a lot better. You can't fit them in with Colorado 1, so it's going to be one or the other. It's impossible to fit them in with Colorado 1 actually. I would expect the Crosby line to go up against Getzlaf, Aberg, and Kasha, which is a line I like, but I don't really love them here. I bumped them down a little bit for in my projections, but they're still coming up for me a little bit. I think it's because Kasha's projection. Like I used a lot of this year's numbers and been using more and more as the season has gone on, and like per 60, Kasha is just a stud. So when he's getting this top line time with Getzlaf, I think it is it's a good spot for him to be. But now you've got this line that's 17K. They're basically the same price, or they're around the same price as Pittsburgh too. So it's tough for me to say that I love them when Pittsburgh 2 is right on the other side. And they're going to get matchups against like Kessler and the Henrique lines. The Kessler line has been really, really bad defensively. And it's been that way for over a year since he came back last year. He's not the shutdown center anymore. And yeah, those numbers are going to be bad because he's in the shutdown role when he's at home. So he faces a lot of very good lines, but like they just had no success slowing anyone down. So that's why I really like the Malkin line. It is also cheaper. It's probably going to be more chalky on DK. What do you mean? Oh, what's going on? All right. I'm trying to win a seat for that con. Oh, the Abominable Snowman. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I haven't done a lot of like single entering this season, but that's probably what I would do. Is just fire a bullet in it. How many games do we have tomorrow? Does anybody know? Haven't looked at the slate for tomorrow yet. Probably will tonight if I call it an early one. 11 games? Whew. That's a lot for one lineup. I did that a lot last year, but this year I've been spreading it around, diversifying, as they say. Anyways, so this game really prefer Pittsburgh 2. And then, I mean, Anaheim 1 would be more of like a contrarian MME play. I wouldn't get there if I was building like 3 to 5 lineups. But since I have probably 75 tonight in that $8, they're going to be on, probably like 10, 12% of my teams, I would say. And then Pittsburgh 2 is probably going to come close to 20%. So they're going to be up there with Colorado 1 as one of my highest exposed lines, just like everyone else. Letang for 6,400 coming back, assuming he gets that power play 1 spot. I think he's still a little expensive. He seems to always be that way, but he does correlate really well with mostly the top line, but with the second line too, because that Pittsburgh power play is so nasty. Other guys that you can punt with, I guess, Alexiak and or Pedersen are both fine to take flyers on. Genslet 7K is absurd. Yeah, it's tough, especially when they're going to see a lot of the Getzlaff line. But I just like the second line, and I know it's going to be chalkier. So, anything else in this game to mention? Lindholm and Montour probably going to play 1 million minutes as they have been. And then you've got just four guys that are mostly the same for me in Manson, Larson, Mahura, Dotchkin. I mean, Manson would be the guy I prefer, but he is $500 to $700 more expensive than those other guys. So you can take your pick with a Ducks punt here. I don't really have a lean there, but it looks like Osmo likes Manson and Larson if you are choosing one of those guys. Gibson is probably going to see a bunch of shots, and he is sometimes really awesome when he does that. So if you're looking for an upside goalie or a correlation play, if you're playing Anaheim 1, Gibson, I think, is a fine play in tournaments. DeSmith, I'm a little lower on. C points grade, C value, and Osmo's grades. He's just, he's got good win equity, but that's really about it. I don't expect him to see a ton of shots here. And he's really expensive. All right, let's move it on to the Golden Knights and the Columbus Blue Jackets. 2.9 implied total for the Knights, 3.3 for the Blue Jackets. Vegas played yesterday, if I remember correctly. They played during the day, so kind of like a day and a half of rest. They've been going with Fleury basically every time. I don't know why tonight would be any different. Vegas, I believe, is on a 3-4, I think Corsi said. He was talking earlier, and it's a road 3-4. It's a pretty tough spot. Sunday, Monday, back-to-back. Not a great spot to be for Vegas. Columbus 1, probably going to be I shouldn't say that. Columbus 2 is probably going to be pretty chalky here, like 15, 20% maybe, depending on the stakes you're looking at, because they do fit with Colorado 1. And if you fit with Colorado 1, you fit with every other line. They are a line people like to play. Jenner and Anderson both pop for me whenever they're priced this low. And then Foligno is on the top power play. So there's a lot of things to like for this Columbus 2 line. I'm going to be probably with the field, and I'm going to have a Columbus 2, Colorado 1 lineup, but I'm going to try to just have one in there. And, if that ends up being the nuts, I don't miss out in MME, and hopefully I can still get like a top 10. But I'm not just going to fire away like 5 or 6 Columbus 2, Colorado 1 lineups, because it's going to be duped a bunch of times. Any optimizer used by anyone who does even strength stacking is going to have Colorado 1, Columbus 2. So I do like Columbus 1 here, but again, like, I think I prefer Pittsburgh 2 price-wise and matchup-wise. Like, if they're going to see a bunch of time against Carlson, Marchessault, Smith, and they're not going to hard match, I don't think, but if they do see the majority of their time against them, that's just not a great matchup, I don't think, for either side. Columbus 1 has been pretty solid defensively, and then Vegas 1 doesn't give it up much in their own end either. So, like, the argument, I guess, for wanting to play Vegas here is, they correlate well. They're all in the top power play. They're cheap. They're going to be unowned. But I don't really love them from a, going all in or anything like that perspective on Vegas here. Pacioretty back on Vegas 2 tonight. I think he was back on, what was that? Yesterday. I think he was back yesterday. So, yeah, I would think he's going to be back. Power play 1. Still don't love the matchup for them, but you're going to see Tuch and Pacioretty get some steam here, especially because those guys both play on the power play. Tuch on the second power play now does bump his value down a little bit, but if you want to stack up Vegas too, that's fine. I'm just not really ending up there based on my initial crunches. Like right now I had, under 10%. It's just not, they're not going to be a staple of my lineups tonight. I'm probably just going to have a couple pieces of Vegas 2. And then oddly enough, Vegas 1 wasn't really coming up for me either. I don't know. I guess Columbus has done a good job or a decent job at slowing it down at home this season, which I would not have expected. Seth Jones, best play in this game from a blue line standpoint. And then I like Nate Schmidt a little bit for 4,100. What is our account doing? Anyways, I like Nate Schmidt a little bit for 4,100, but that's really all I've got for this one. It's just the top 2 Columbus lines. I would like this third Columbus line. Like I think we talked about it maybe last week. It was a Colorado 1 slate. Like this would be the perfect time to fire up Bjorkstrand with Wenberg and Duclair because they have very good offensive numbers and they're going to get depth lines and it's at home, but no Duclair expected in the lineup, so that kind of bumps them down for me. All right. I like Bobrovsky as well, 7,600. I keep riding him, and it's just not working out. But I don't know. As long as they keep putting him out here, he's gonna come up for me, and he's won two out of his last 4. It's not like he's been terrible and can't win games, but he's had some really head-scratching starts recently. So I got no problem dropping to Werenski from Jones with the price difference. I mean, I'd much, much, much prefer Jones, but if the $1,800 opens up salary for you, then by all means go for it. Boston and Montreal here, we have Yaroslav Halak and Carey Price. 2.8 implied total for the Bruins, 3.3 for the Montreal Canadiens. This is probably my least favorite game of the night. It's a 6 total. I don't really have a read on ownership here. Some people were talking about liking Boston 1 a lot. I don't really see it. I think they're going to see a lot of time against Danault, Tatar, and Gallagher. And that line's not one that I want to target, especially when they're on home ice. And they have the benefit of last change, so they're going to want to shut down Boston 1. They're a one-line team, so it'd make perfect sense for Montreal to hard match here. And that's kind of what I'm expecting. And neither of those matchups are good for either side. So for me in this game, it's going to be Domi, Drouin, Shaw. They're probably going to come close to being one of my highest exposed lines. They are, 16-4 on DraftKings. Top power play time for Domi and Drouin. Boston's penalty kill has had some issues. No Bergeron, obviously. And then I'm expecting them not to see much time at all against Marchand, Krejci, and Pasternak. So it's a pretty easy choice for me. Montreal 1. And I guess if you want to go to a Boston line, you can take your pick with either the second or the super cheap third line. The third line, the only exposure I'm probably going to have to them is with a Colorado 1 stack because they're going to fit, and you could probably get Tyson Barrie in as well. The second line, I think Backes is fine, especially if he's going to be on the top power play, A value in Osmo's grades. But neither Cave nor Nordstrom really do much for me. So Montreal 1, and then Montreal 3, I guess I should at least mention here. I've been playing them a little bit. Their prices come up. They're up to 12.5 on DK, still not enough for me to say, no, you can't play them. And they're also going to avoid Krejci, Marchand, and Pasternak. So just another line that fits with some of the other top lines if you are double stacking. Let's see what we got in Slack. Last game in Montreal on 11/24, they didn't hard match Boston 1 at all? Really? Let's see. The 24th of November. They did lose that game. Oh, was it a blender situation? Well, let's see what happened. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, they just... looks like they just rolled lines. I mean, if you think about it... Did you guys talk about this in chat? I must have missed that. If you think about it logically, like, why would... Like, they had started matching with Montreal 1 against opposing top lines at home. Like, why would you want to go away from that? And... maybe they don't look at natural stat trick. They probably don't, but why would you want to play Domi, Drouin, Shaw against a very good top line? Like, I don't know. I don't make the choices for Montreal, obviously, so whatever. But yeah, that's how I would do it. That's how I think smart people in the NHL would do it. So who knows? But that's kind of how I was treating it. If that's not the case, then maybe I should move a little bit of my exposure and even it out with Montreal too. But yeah, no, that was good that you brought it up. Don't worry about that. I wonder if Gallagher was out for that game. Might have made a difference. Has Gallagher been out this year? Montreal 2 only gave up 2.7 goals against per 60. Interesting stat. The Islanders are... okay, we'll save that for the Islanders game. Anything else here we should mention? Okay. Yeah, Boston PP is perfectly fine, especially if you want to fit in one of these guys like Backes or Donato with Pasternak and Marchand. Just makes it a little bit more affordable. And then Krug, yeah, he's a little bit expensive, and you're really paying for the power play matchup. Montreal doesn't have a great kill. But if you are going full contrarian and you want to get Marchand and Pasternak and one of these cheap guys and Krug, that'd probably be the way to do it. I almost never know what to do with the rest of the guys on Boston's defense when Krug's in the lineup. And then on the Montreal side, it would be Weber and Petrie, far ahead of everyone else. They're priced way above everyone else on Montreal. But Riley is also viable for 3,200. His price is coming up a little bit, but still getting that power play 2 time. So he does technically have some power play correlation with both Montreal 1 and Montreal 2. Brian Elliott, what's up? Didn't you just get recalled by Philadelphia the other day? Gallagher did play in that game. Okay. All right, let's move it on. Nashville and Ottawa, we have a 3.5 implied total for the Predators, 2.8 for the Senators. Probably going to be Pekka Rinne going up against Craig Anderson. If we have time at the end, Big Hova, maybe we could do some FanDuel crunches. So this one, man, I like Ottawa here. I don't know. It's just how it is. What the numbers I use, the chances and all this stuff. I look at some home road split stuff because I think that's important, or somewhat important in NHL DFS. Obviously with line matching and last change and all that. And numbers that I look at really favor Ottawa as solid values here. Nashville, like we mentioned, they're getting a little bit healthier, but still no Subban, no Arvidsson, no Forsberg in this lineup. Not a great top 6 with Yarncroc and Ryan Hartman up there. And then I really, really like the Whitestone Kachuk line. I think I wrote about them earlier. I think they're a pretty awesome line together in the right spots. I don't know exactly how line matching is going to go here, but I guess I shouldn't say it. I don't know how it's going to go. I think we're going to see the Smith line go up against Johansson, Hartman, and Fiala. And that line has been really good offensively. I think that's the Nashville line I want to play is Nashville 1. But it also somewhat puts in play Ottawa 3 for me. So if you turn the stream off right now because I just somewhat recommended playing Ottawa 3, I would not blame you. But yeah, I'm going to have some exposure to Ottawa 3 because I think they're going to see a bunch of minutes. Like if you look at Smith's last few home games, he's playing a ton of minutes, like 18, 19 minutes at home. And, you know, he's been off and on the power play here. But it doesn't really matter. He's 3,100. Payarvi is min salary. And then Zingle, assuming he's good to go, he's 4,400. But I am even strength stacking tonight in all my lineups. And it's just so affordable as a trio. So they're popping as a value for me, especially when you take into account the minutes they're likely going to play if they're matching Johansson, Hartman, and Fiala. And then you see how bad that line has been, or how leaky they've been defensively. They've been good at shot suppression, but high danger chances, they've been very, very bad. So there you go. Ottawa 3. That's going to be the 1% line I hope goes off with some Colorado 1. But yeah, Ottawa 1, Ottawa 3, and then Nashville 1 for me here. Tierney, Bodker, and Ryan are probably going to come up for some people. Like, you just look at these prices for Ottawa. They're just so cheap. So they're going to come up for people as fillers. They're at home. Not a great implied total, but, you know, we've seen them with like 2.2 implied totals this season when they're on the road. So 2.8 is not too bad at all. Let's see. All right. Shabbat, $5,700 on DK. He's probably going to be my highest owned player on the night. He's going to be in basically all of my Ottawa 1 stacks, basically all of the Ottawa 3 stacks I have, and then if any Ottawa 2's fillers stacks sneak in there, he's probably going to be in that too. Just the peripherals are awesome. He attempts a bunch of shots, plays a ton of minutes, and they've priced him down a little bit. He was almost 7K at one point, I think, but 5,700 when I already like Ottawa. Like, it's just a very easy 4-man stack to get to with all these cheap lines. Is Zingle playing tonight? No one expects him to. It's tough, right? Because we saw this with the Taylor Hall situation. He left practice early. I guess he was holding his shoulder this morning at morning skate when he got checked into the boards or something. And you just never really know. We're gonna know right around when lock happens. This is a 7:30 Eastern game, so probably want to stick around after lock if you do have some Ottawa 3. I expect him to play right now. If I see anything, I'll put it in the Slack chat. Sometimes we do get word a little more than a half an hour before, but yeah, I would expect him to play right now. I shouldn't say I don't have any reason to believe he's not playing. He left practice, but you just never really know with this stuff. The pivot will be someone cheaper anyway. Yeah, it would probably just be a global swap. I mean, I like it with Zingle on that line, much better. But like if Batherson moves up or something, it's all right. And you can global swap that on DK, which is helpful. All right. So Shabbat, I mentioned. Harper is also a guy, I suppose you can punt with 2,700 and playing with Shabbat at even strength. You look at his minutes have been okay, seeing like 17, 18, 19 minutes last game. That's fine for 2,700. That's basically what you're looking for. Why do you think Letang will play? He's a game time decision, but he skated this morning. So I mean, that's my lean is that Letang will play. But we'll know that one before lock. You'll know that a half an hour before lock, so you have time to adjust or re-crunch if you're crunching. That reminds me, I haven't entered in my contests yet that I want to get into. Should probably do that. Someone like the Nashville 3 pivot, Bonino, Sissons, and Watson. Let's see what I got for them. Let's see. Bonino, Sissons, and Watson. I've got them as a decent value. 90 minutes on ice. They're about 50 Corsi for percentage. They're just pretty dull offensively, but Ottawa will cure anything. Ottawa's better defensively at home, but better is a very relative term because they are piss poor on the road. So that's why they come up for me a little bit when they're at home. When they're on the road, it's very rare that I get to any Ottawa stacks on a medium-sized slate even. But yeah, they're actually not the worst team in the league at home, at even strength at least. Letang said he felt good, and it's up to the team doctors. Can't imagine them telling him to sit. Oh yeah, I did see that it was up to the team doctors, but all signs point to him playing. Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, two of the top plays on the night if you want some Nashville exposure and just want to go with a one-off. Either of those two are fantastic plays, I think. If you don't want to try to guess which line it is that's going to get the scoring for Nashville, my lean would be Nashville 1 and Josi, but it very well could be Nashville 2 or Nashville 3, but my exposures will reflect what I just said, so that's where I'm going to be. Josi, I'm going to have a ton of. He's going to be right behind Shabbat for my highest owned player. And I'll just look at what I got for them on the last crunch. Yeah, I had Shabbat at 63% and Josi at 43%. And I've been kind of doing this thing, Bobby Ryan night, really, Corsi? Is it really? Why is it Bobby Ryan night? Why would it be Bobby Ryan night? Let's see. Yeah, what am I missing on Bobby Ryan? Nashville. Where are they at here? I mean, they do commit quite a few penalties, right? But their kill is above average. I guess he's 3,900, sure. But yeah, this like thing where I've started to kind of go not all in, but take bigger stands on defensemen is something that I've studied from testosterone, where if it's a Brent Burns slate and he's affordable, literally testosterone will have 75% Brent Burns type of thing. And I think I mentioned this on one of the streams, but I'm kind of looking at different stuff that testosterone has been doing lately, and that's one of the things that probably sets him apart, because if you guess right and that defender has like 8 DK points and he's even close to the highest scoring defender on the night, you're just in such a good spot if you can get the 2 right line combos, which if you have 150 lineups, you obviously have a better chance to do that. And testosterone also diversifies really, really well. So trying to cater my game to that way. Giordano, yep, I've been doing that with Giordano. Yep. But yeah, Shabbat and Josi will be probably 1 and 2 for my highest exposures tonight. He's just like anyone else in single entry contests. I mean, I would beg to differ. I don't know. People probably say that about Alex Osmo too, but yeah. Do you think D productivity is more predictable than forwards? Yeah, I do. And I mean, most projection systems you'll look at, mine included, you're gonna have like better value projection on the defenseman. So that's why I like to pay up for defensemen if I can. So, like, you might have a defenseman that's projected for 4.5 points and he's 5K. Okay, but how many forwards are actually going to do that? Like McKinnon, for example, is like 8K tonight, and he's I think I had him projected for like 5.8, which is worse value than those defensemen. You think Sissimo's better? I mean, there's probably a debate to be had. On Crunch, then, do you change their exposure to like 70%? What do you mean by that, Huey? I feel like any random forward could possibly go off, but there's way less defensemen that can go nuts. Well, I mean, first of all, the defensemen, they play more minutes. If you're power play quarterback one, even on a decent unit, you've got a better chance at scoring more points. Yeah, forwards always have higher ceiling, right? Because they do more goal scoring. But for floor and just like guys that aren't going to kill you, it's those power play one quarterback defensemen. So guys like Yossi and Shabbat. So like I'd rather take a Shabbat with some close to min price defenseman than pay for 2 4K defensemen or something like that. You know what I mean? That's just how I've kind of changed. Like punt one spot, if you get a 1.5 out of your defenseman, you're still not like, even if you get a 0.5, but you're just going to feel so much better with your power play one quarterback defenseman because there's just such a better floor there. If it is set the whole D to like 30%, then change a single D man you like to 70%. I mean, I don't limit defensemen unless their projection's just wrong, but then I'll go in and update it on the site. So you would get that too. But I don't limit them, no. They'll just come up there because they're very good values. Does that make sense? All right. Oh, yeah. Craig Anderson night. Yeah, $6,900 on DK. He is an underdog. He is probably going to see a lot of shots because they're still the Ottawa Senators. And I'm playing a lot of sends, and I'm correlating on probably about half of my DK lineups. I'm correlating my goalie. So I'm going to have a lot of Anderson because he opens up a lot. Even if you go Ottawa 1 with Shabbat and Anderson, you can still fit in some really, really good stacks after that. You are right. 100% Nick Leddy it is. Yeah, exactly. Exactly what I'm saying. No, Leddy's not that kind of defender. It's the Yossis, the Burns. I mean, you could argue Shabbat's in that category. For me, he is right now. Ottawa 2, Colorado 1, yo. I mean, yeah, that's going to be, of course, you're probably playing the 333 tonight, right? So that's probably not going to be duped, or maybe that's one other person that's duped. But you're going to have a different lineup construction. Whereas in the $8, and I know you understand this, Corsi, but I'm just saying this to everyone else, maybe people that don't understand it. Like in the $8, Ottawa 2 and Colorado 1 is going to be relatively popular because if you're playing Ottawa 2, it's probably to get to a Colorado 1. You're not playing Ottawa 2 because they're one of your highest projected lines. You're playing Ottawa 2 because 3,700, 3K, and 3,900, and these things right here. So if anybody doesn't get that, that is why. But in the 333, maybe one other person has that. That's multi-entering. Like maybe Alex Osmo has that in one of his 3 lineups. All right, let's move it on. The last game of the night. Here's some groundbreaking analysis, as they say on the Twitter sphere. Colorado 1 night. All right, 2.7 implied total for the Islanders. 3.4 for the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado 1. They are obviously the best play tonight. It's not even close. They're the best line on the slate. They're the best line in the league this year. Notable reverse line movement, sharp money on the Islanders. I mean, maybe the Islanders could win this game. I don't know. 3.4 might be a bit low. I'm not playing Colorado, of course, he says. Colorado 1 is an elite fade. Well, I wish you were on the show, Corsi. You could tell me why. So, like, I don't have to make this decision because I am playing multiple lineups. Like, I'm playing 50 to 75 to maybe 100 lineups. So I guess I don't have to make this decision every night. But, like, if I was single entering tonight, I really don't know what I would do with Colorado 1. Man, it would be really tough. Well, first of all, if I was single entering tonight, I probably wouldn't run a 4-3-1. So I would make sure I'm not duped. So even if I ran out like Colorado 1 and Columbus 2, I would leave off one of the guys on Columbus 2 and just punt my last forward spot and do something different. If Colorado 2 scores 2, does that even help you at those prices? You mean Colorado 1? I would assume, Matt, you mean Colorado 1. All of Colorado 1 is super hot. Yeah, okay. So Colorado 1. Well, yeah, everything's relative, right? So if one of these lines goes nuts, or not even goes nuts, let's say you just need one of these lines to have a full line goal, right? And then maybe a guy gets another goal or assist outside of that. You know, if one of these cheap lines gets 4 or 5 points combined, there's just such a good chance that Colorado 1 is the highest scoring line, and such a good chance might be, 30-40%? That might be too high, because like the chances of any line being the top scoring line when there's 5 games on the slate is a lot lower than what a lot of people would think. But like I have them projected for 3.4 points more than any other line on the entire slate. So technically they're like better values than like Vegas 1. So for me, I would probably get to Colorado 1 and just move on, and differentiate myself elsewhere. I mean, even if Colorado 1 gets 15, right, they're still going to need to have a huge game. But, like, yeah, let's say these games stay somewhat quiet. And let's say Montreal 1 has 15. And they're, like, the highest scoring line going into this game. And, you know, kind of all these other top lines stay relatively quiet. Colorado 1 could still easily be the nuts without having a Colorado 1 4 full line goals game. I don't know. This stuff's really interesting to talk about for tournaments, I think. So I don't even know that we need to do a bunch of like, here are the matchups for this game, because this stuff is more interesting, especially if we're talking about like single entering. I don't know. What do you guys think the ownership for Colorado 1 is going to be? And say like for which tournament? So like, I don't know. I wonder if those prices will scare people off, but yes, they're likely going to be the top scoring line, but they're going to be 4 times more owned over all other top lines. Right, but 4 times more owned than all other top lines. Yeah, I agree. So like for single entry, you're making the case to fade them, right? Because like if you're playing the 333 and you've got one lineup and Osimo and Testosterone have 3, they have the luxury of playing 1 or 2 Colorado 1 lineups and still leaving themselves an out somewhere else. Whereas, you know, and that's going to raise the ownership because each lineup means more to the total ownership. And these guys are really sharp players. They're doing a lot of even strength stacking. So it just really, really depends on the stakes. Got to remember, it's only 5 games. Correct. It's only 5 games. You cannot fit. Here, let's go through the lines you can't fit with. 35% at least. Got to get this one in our Slack says. You guys think so? In which tournament are we talking about? Because it's going to vary. 35-40 for Mac and Rant, and 15 for Landeskog and the Sniper. Yeah, that's the thing too, is a lot of people have been leaving off Landeskog it seems like when one gets there, they all get there. And yeah, like if they go off, it might be McKinnon with 9, Rantanen with 8.5, and Landeskog gets 5. But none of these guys, it's never like McKinnon with 8, Rantanen with 7, and Landeskog with 1. Like, yeah, 14-3, right? Because you need the $6,900 goalie. Yeah, 38-1, I think, is the magic number on most nights. It might be like 38-2, 38-3 if there's a $6,800 or $6,700 goalie. But that's, yeah. So 14-3. So below 14-3, you've got Nashville 2 at 14-1. You've got Islanders 2 at 13-6. You've got Montreal 3 at 12.5. Nashville 3, 12.3. Columbus 2, 11.2. That's going to be the chalkiest one. I think the chalkiest fit with Colorado 1. Should I play Colorado 1 in a 6-man satellite for the 888? I don't want to make your lineup for you, but you can be a little bit more cashy in a 6-man. So maybe that would be the time where you might want to play like 2 of them, because you're probably going to see some more cashy lineups. I would still try to correlate as much as possible, but yeah, if you enjoy 83.3, I don't know, maybe you play McKinnon and leave it at that. Yeah, McKinnon probably is going to be 100% in the 6-man tourney. Just take the space and differentiate elsewhere. Landeskog slightly overpriced. I mean, yeah. You can't say Colorado 1 hasn't earned these prices, though. Like, I try not to think of guys by themselves as over-underpriced. Like, you want... And that's because I'm even strength stacking, so it makes sense for me. But if you are playing like a cash game or something, then yeah, there's probably merit to that. Aston Reese or Rust or both? Mitchell Vesey, Jimmy's brother. I would go Aston Reese. I like the second line for Pittsburgh a little bit better. Right, that's the thing. Like, who cares about ownership? If you're going to win tonight, you'll need a piece of Avs number 1, most likely, right? Yes, most likely. I agree. That is the most likely scenario. Let's say even if you give Colorado a 40% chance at being the top scoring line tonight, they're going to be more than, or they might be more than 40% owned in some tournaments. So now I mean, 40% is a wild, wild number when there's 10 teams on the slate. Even strength stacking, typically the best strategy. Yes, in tournaments, large field tournaments. CBJ 1 and Pitt 1/2 are in fantastic spots too, and they're gonna have a fraction of the ownership. That's true. I wonder if it's like reversed. Could that be? Could it be reversed? I know McKinnon's gonna be crazily owned in all tournaments because he's going to probably be in everyone's cash games. I'm assuming that's where people are going on Colorado 1 in cash. But yeah, I don't know. This is interesting to talk about. Are we still streaming? Why does it say live stream offline? Oh, okay. There we go. I definitely like some mid-tier lines to pair together. Like, I like Ottawa 1 a ton. So I'm glad I don't have to make this decision as much as maybe some of you guys. But it is very, very interesting for the 333 and stuff like that if you're just playing one lineup. They're going to be as highly owned as Gurley, 81% of the showdown slate last night. The over has only hit once in the last 10 Avalanche games on Monday night, and the under... Wait, what? Dude, the Isles take a lot of penalties. Colorado gets there in the PP a lot. Let's see what the Isles are doing. Off the top of my head, I don't think they do take a lot of penalties. Yeah, they are 28th in time shorthanded, so actually really good. Just over 3 times shorthanded per game, which is one of the best in the NHL. I think that might have been a troll, Matt. I don't know. I'm not sure. Harper at 2,700. Yeah, I said you could punt with him fine. He's not great, so don't be expecting a ceiling game, but yeah, he's going to be someone that I probably have a little bit of exposure to in that range. I also have bad PK, but don't take many. Yeah, okay. The other line I like in this game, another mid-tier play, is the Nelson Lee Eberle line. Almost always prefer them over Josh Bailey in the second line. Barzal is awesome. Beauvillier is like he's got some upside day to day, but that line usually goes higher owned, and I almost always prefer Andersley, and Eberle is underpriced. I don't know exactly how Colorado is going to match here, but I do like the Isles 1, I guess you call them. And then I think we should also talk about the 6-man stack for Colorado. Oops. I actually don't really like Varlamov that much. He's 8,300, and Colorado takes a ton of penalties. And the Islanders don't really generate a ton of even strength. So I'd like to go elsewhere on Varlamov. Good win equity, but the odds that he's like the nut goalie are very slim unless he gets a shutout. But obviously cannot predict shutouts very well here. So like this, I think if you are MMEing, you should have stuff like this. And maybe it's not all 6 forwards, but like this is what people like testosterone run in a handful of their lineups. So yeah, you can 6-man stack. You can do that on DK. Not a troll at all. Got it from covers.com. I usually look for a day of the week coming off the weekend because players have lives and will have nights out. I think I'm going to have a strong helping of Columbus-Vegas game. I have a decent amount of the Columbus game, like the Jenner line, the Dubois line, but I probably won't have much Vegas at all. McKinnon, best value of Colorado 1? I think he is for me. You just go point per dollar. Yeah. Keep sleeping on the captain, Gabe Landeskog, boys. I'm not sleeping on Landeskog. Like I said, even strength stacking. If Colorado is insanely high owned, any value on Greiss, or is that suicidal? I think suicidal may be a bit much, but I mean, I don't really like Greiss in this game either. Colorado's PP is nuts. They see so much time against McKinnon. So minimal exposure to both goalies here. Gonna get most of my goalie exposure in the first few games, not this one. Always scared of fading Seth Jones on a short slate. Seth Jones, I mean, he's not my favorite defender tonight. I like Shabbat and Yossi better, but he is a beast. I will agree with that. I think Petrie is a pretty good value for 5K. Weber's fine for 6K. So there are a bunch of PP1 guys, but I'm just taking bigger stands elsewhere according to my projections. So that's kind of where I'll be at. I want to get out of here. There is a 8-game NBA slate. Oh, I almost forgot to mention the giveaway that we're doing. Free month of the sport of your choosing. It is a random giveaway, and the way you get entered into that, of course, is by liking this video and then comment. Let's comment Colorado 1's ownership in the $8 on DK. Comment what you think Colorado 1's ownership will be in the $8 on DK. And just like approximately, like the players, the average of the 3 players. So not like, 90% if you think they're all going to be 30. So, yeah, it was a good discussion. Thanks for joining, guys. Make sure to do that. Comment, like, and you will be entered into the random drawing and get hopefully some free stuff because everybody loves free stuff, right? Josh Anderson or Josh Bailey Anderson for me. It's not even really close. Yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Hopefully more discussions like this to come. Homer Cleese and I tomorrow is the plan. And yeah, see you guys at the top, hopefully. We'll see how this slate shakes out. I'm looking forward to talking to some people in Slack over the next few hours. So good luck tonight, guys.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. It's the Deeper Dive presented by Awesemo.com. I'm Dave Lochran. My man right there is Adam Shar. We got an 8-game basketball slate for you today. Pretty exciting one. I'm hoping we're live here. Not necessarily sure.
I don't think you are. Hold on.
Yeah.